Nikon Z9, holy smoke. Welcome to my video. This is Magnus speaking, and I talk about cameras, DSLR, and mirrorless in terms of video because I'm just that kind of guy, and I like that stuff. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about the Z9, and wow, we got a lot of information on the Z9. Now again, I'm going to really enhance or talk about the Z9's video capabilities, which seem to be pretty cool as of this point. A lot of these spec leaks are coming out, but I anticipate that with the full announcement, you're going to get most of what I've got here because these rumors seem to be pretty legitimate. So if I upload this after it's already out, again, I anticipate that I'll be mostly accurate with what I'm saying on the Z9, but it's pretty exciting. And spec leaks were coming out on Nikon rumors over and over again, so it's pretty interesting. As of this point, what we know from a video capability of the Nikon Z9, which is Nikon's mirrorless flagship camera that's up and coming, is that it'll be able to do, and this is what I've already discussed previously, it can do 8K, almost like no limit with the 8K recording at 30 frames per second. But with this leak, it also said it could do 8K up to 60 frames a second. Now, initially it was like, okay, how long will that be able to last? But according to Nikon rumors on the latest and greatest, it can record up to an hour of 8K 60 frames per second, which is like, holy moly. Now, a lot of people were questioning, do we even need 8K, let alone 8K 60 frames per second? And I can tell you, after owning the R5 for a long time, almost a year at this point, which is amazing, the R5's 8K has been a game changer for me. I have an upcoming video coming up soon where I actually use the 8K on the R5 for a professional shoot, a real professional shoot that's going to be on television and everything. And the 8K RAW did not disappoint. And I wish I had 8K 60 frames per second because that would have led to a lot of good footage and footage that I could slow down in post, which it's clutch. And yes, the 8K was necessary, not 4K. 8K was necessary. I cropped in on that shot as I needed, and it worked out beautifully. However, Nikon's really got a couple advantages for video in this sense. 8K 60 frames per second, which, I mean, I can only imagine the bit rate on that stuff. But I doubt they're going to do 8K RAW. And none of the spec leaks mention 8K RAW. Nikon hasn't really done internal 8K RAW. I would imagine that if anything, you might be able to get like 8K or some sort of RAW out of the HDMI port, maybe externally to an Atomos Ninja. But that remains to be seen because this camera is meant for example, like sports photographers, not really meant for video, though its video specs are pretty clutch. But the other interesting spec that is awesome for video is the fact that its readout's going to be so fast, it's basically eliminating rolling shutter. Now, if you don't know what rolling shutter is, it's basically like a jello effect when you pan left and right on your camera. If this has a readout speed, as much as it brags, world record-breaking readout speed, then eliminating rolling shutter would be awesome, especially with such a high resolution camera. Now, Sony and Canon have done wonders to reduce rolling shutter, especially the A1 does a really good job of reducing that rolling shutter effect. R5 not bad at all, and honestly, I haven't really had an issue with rolling shutter for much video situations, but it's still there, and to actually eliminate it is really exciting, and if Nikon pulls that off in video, it would be pretty cool. Now, from a photography specs, I won't get on this too much, but photography specs match pretty close to the Canon R5. So it's almost like it's meant for photography, but like 20 frames per second at 45 megapixels, that's what you get off of the Canon. But I'm sure with that readout speed and eliminating rolling shutter, you'd get much better results off of the Nikon Z9 than you would get off the R5. But the price difference, is it worth the price difference? I don't know. I can't even say. Anyway, that's all the exciting news I have at this moment for the Z9 that I wanted to mention and then bring to you guys. What do you guys think? Is this a killer video camera? I think that it outshines from a capability standpoint definitely the R5. It'll probably outshine any other camera up to this point because 8K 60, wow, that's going to be clutch. And if they get their autofocus as good as they showed on the video, which, you know, it's hard to justify whether it was real or not. Then they've got a really killer video camera on their hands, and I don't know what to say. I'm excited, though. I wish there would have been a flip screen rather than a tilt screen. It's not a choice for me. I've really never considered Nikon for video, but this one, holy moly, it really gets it there. And if you can get 8K raw output via the Atomos Ninja, which is only going to be like, at tops, I would imagine 30 frames per second. But if they do 60 frames per second off of the Atomos recorder, that would be amazing. And I do know that Atomos, at least from a Nikon perspective, has supported both ProRes RAW and Blackmagic RAW, which I actually like that Nikon does that, because I would probably use Blackmagic RAW because that's kind of what I'm familiar with, and it would pair nicely with my Cinema 4K camera. Again, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you guys think on the video features of the Nikon. And as always, you make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. Go Nikon. See you guys later.